Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have CEO David Platt of BioXyTran with me today. David, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You have a very illustrious background, and I'd like to take a moment to give our audience the full flavor of what you bring to the table to BioXyTran. BioXyTran. God, I'm messing that up.
BioXyTran. It's biological oxygen transfer.
Okay, BioXyTran.
That's the BioXyTran. It's a unique name. We invented that. Doesn't exist in English. We invented the name.
Okay, then. I don't feel so bad about butchering it. All right, David, please give us your background.
About my background. I'm a carbohydrate chemist in my background. I'm doing it for my entire career. This is not my first invention. I'm the inventor of the technology. What the company is all about is delivering different molecules with using carbohydrate chemistry.
Okay.
Or making the carbohydrate themselves a molecule that can affect biological treatment in case of cancer or in case of stroke. You use the chemistry of sugar as a way to treat disease. Basically, it's chemistry, but unique chemistry.
How did you come to invent this technology?
The technology itself, the basis of this technology, people developed that for many years. So I did not invent the basic chemistry. What I did, I add my expertise into stabilize that heme out of the hemoglobin.
Okay.
What we do, we take the heme, or the molecule that carry oxygen in the hemoglobin, and we attach that molecule to a sugar molecule. And now we have a new molecule called heme sugar that can deliver oxygen to the brain.
Tell me about the experiments that you performed and how this helps the patients.
The experiment is basically to inject the molecule into animals and show that you can deliver oxygen to the brain or to tissue in general. And what the molecule basically is doing, one of the scientific experiment was to show that we don't interfere with the way oxygen is bound to the molecule, because it's a competition between oxygen and nitrogen in the body of human or in the tissue, and we demonstrate that that type of molecule can bind to oxygen predominantly into and deliver that. So this is one way to prove that the molecule is suitable to carry oxygen.
Okay, how does this help people, and what type of people does it help?
In case of a stroke, what we do, as you know, a stroke, there are two types of stroke. There are a hemorrhagic stroke, and there is a stroke that caused by clot. And it's a blockage of which is the majority of the case of stroke patients. Mm-hmm. So when a patient gets a stroke, and usually it's a hemorrhagic or a clot, the red blood cells cannot penetrate to part of the brain simply because of the blockage. And as a consequence, that part of the brain doesn't get oxygen. So our molecule, which we will inject IV, goes into the lung, in the bloodstream, pick an oxygen, and since the molecule is smaller, it's 5,000 times smaller than the red blood cells, it can penetrate by diffusion. It penetrates the clot and goes into the brain, into the part of the brain that lack of the oxygen, and release the oxygen there. So you actually oxygenate that part of the brain with that molecule. Then the molecule without the oxygen goes back to the bloodstream, to the lung, and doing that again and again. We measure the half-life, it's about 9 hours. So it acts like red blood cells, but it's only one molecule is doing, one thing, which is release one oxygen. Think about red blood cells has about 300 million molecules in each red blood cells packed in one red blood cell, 300 million. We are only one molecule. There's only one molecule. Since it's so small, it can penetrate the clot and oxygenate the brain.
Is this treatment only available in a laboratory or a hospital setting? Or, because it seems to me first responders would just love to get their hands on this, because they're the ones that are treating the patients before they end up in the hospital. Are you going in that direction with this?
Absolutely. That will be today there's no treatment before you go to the hospital. Right. And even in the hospital, not always they treat you with to dissolve the clot, simply because it can be very dangerous by itself. The treatment itself can be dangerous to the patient. So only 20% of the patients getting the treatment in the hospital itself. Mm-hmm. The physician is measuring weight. I'm going to give them too much oxygen by removing the clot. Sometimes that's also damage the brain. Or I give them, I don't treat them, and at least they survive, and I don't increase the damage. So there's 1 hour, which call it the golden hour. That's the window that you can treat the patient. After that, the brain is dead. So we will give it we will have it in an ambulance, in an emergency situation, and will be the only treatment that the patient, once they get an ambulance into his home or whoever, you immediately inject him the material and the drug, and then they will take maybe half an hour or 15 minutes to get to the hospital, but they will continue to inject him that material. It doesn't hurt if you try to dissolve or you try to keep the patient as it is. So, or surgery. So that will be a way to save the brain before it gets lost, that 1 hour, after 1 hour.
So it's a simple injection.
Simple IV injection, yeah, with a bag, that's it.
So it doesn't, you don't have to be a nurse, a doctor, or an EMT to administer this to a patient. I'm sure it's preferred, but you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can keep it if you have a suspicious of a clot, or somebody can put their hand on such a solution. You inject it IV, like any other IV injection.
What are the steps to be able to bring this to market? What has to happen next? We, in the stage of getting a permission to inject it to human, called IND, Investigation New Drug. We need to manufacture that. We're in the process of scaling up the laboratory material, lab scale material. We need to make it suitable for human, which is manufacturing. We need to raise the money as a company, do the manufacturing, do all the testing that required to get any drug to the market, to a human, get the FDA to agree to all the steps in clinical trial. And then what we'll do, we will not start with the patients. We will inject to healthy people. And the reason is that we want to make sure that the healthy people don't affect, they're not supposed to be affected by this molecule. Remember, this is only, that molecule only carry oxygen, so it doesn't have not supposed to have any immunological reaction or any side effect. So you inject it to human, to healthy volunteers,
Once we pass that test, then we can go and inject it to stroke patients.
Okay, now I know that there's at least 800,000 patients a year that could use this treatment that you've come up with.
It's actually 900,000.
900,000.
Yes, a year. That's just in the U.S. That's a big thing, a big number around the world.
Yes, it is. Is it also true that you're the only company to work on this drug or on this treatment process?
Yes. As far as I know, we are the only one.
Wow. Well, all right, David, it has been a sincere pleasure to have you on the show. I thank you so much. I would definitely love to see this move forward. I would love to invite you to come back and talk to us about the successful steps that you have in bringing this out so that you can help humanity with this new treatment.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'll definitely come back.
Good. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thank you for watching with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.